Sorry to bust your bubble, but Jesus is not white. All y'all have pictures of him on your walls, acting as if he's white. He ain't white. All the textbooks showing all the people in the Bible white, they ain't white. It's all a lie. All the white supremacy, all the white racist people changed it all to make it as if the white people rule the world. But Jesus is not white. Jesus is actually black.
What color were the original Hebrews?
I have told you that we don't know that for certain.
Then you can't believe for certain that Jesus was white.
Did you know that white folk?
Hair like wool, eyes like a flame of fire, feet like fine brass, as if they were burned in a furnace.
But prove that we're lying. Go into the book and show us Jesus is white. Nobody can do it, but they so mad. The hair on his face was white like what?
Not wool.
Do you know what wool hair is? What is it?
Sheep hair.
Sheep hair, Afro hair, like your hair, my hair, your hair, this hair. That's wool hair. So that's strike number one for your white Jesus. The Lord God formed man out of the dust of the ground. I ain't got no soil. What is the color of the dust of the ground? When you dig the soil, what color is it?
It's brown.
It's brown. The deeper you dig, the darker it gets. So what color was Adam? Huh? He was a black man. You scared to say it? He was black. That's the mentality in South Africa, throughout all Africa, America, wherever our people are, it's the same thing. We'll read it and nobody will say. That's the problem.
So if Jesus was black or brown, does that make Mary and
all of them, black and brown people, all of them, all the apostles? The only instances you see of people who are fair-skinned are the Roman captains.
Bro, I don't know. I've never seen a Mary that was black, bro.
Ever. Even brown. The problem is that we see, like James said, a picture. We worship the man, not the spirit of Elohim. We don't worship the invisible Father of all lights, who he says, beware that I did not come to you in any graven image, nor in heaven, nor in earth, nor in the oceans or below, but I came to you in a mountain of fire with a mighty sound, which is different from every other culture which has a graven image of their deities. Whereas the Hebrew culture is saying the invisible, almighty giver of the breath of life, who was beyond any image on heaven or earth. The father of lies has infiltrated even the body of Messiah by putting an image for us to worship, because that was the final caveat, is that you worship wood, you worship gold. People are worshiping idols of gold and silver, forming for themselves images of man and bowing down and saying, please help me. When it can neither see nor speak, how can it save?
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Alright, the white community is panicking and feeling uncomfortable, especially as they're discovering that, there is a high possibility that Jesus was black, and that, all along, this man that they have been worshiping was actually melanated, and finding out that black people are the chosen people of God, the real Hebrew Israelites, is actually enraging a lot of people in their own community because they cannot believe this. And this is crazy because there is a lot of proof on the internet, in scholar books, and in the Bible to actually do support this claim actually, and people do not want actually to agree to this, especially as it's going viral. This is a very topic actually. This is a topic that's going viral on the internet and globally, especially as more and more people, even within their own community, are discovering the truth. And some people within their own community are coming out and spilling the beans, telling the truth and making their own people uncomfortable. Let me know what you think about this topic. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let's take a look. I'll be back with more remarks.
Jesus is actually black. If you read in the Bible, his hair is like as wool. Only black people have wool. And if you read, he was a Galilean Jew. Back then, the Israelites, their origin, where they were black. So, all the people in the Bible that you know of, Noah, Jonah, Moses, Adam, all of them were black. All the people in the Bible were Israelites, and they were all black. And whenever the Israelites, they hooked up with black Hamites, and the Hamites were Egyptian women. So black Shemites intermarried with black Hamites, and the Hamites were Egyptian women, and that gave rise to Arab nation. So Jesus was a Galilean Jew. He was an Israelite, and he was not white. He was black. All the people in the Bible was black. All of y'all have been lied to. And a lot of Christians are constantly lied to. There's so many fake Christians out here, it's disgusting. Like, how can a Christian who really loves the Lord and has God inside of him, how can he be a racist? How can that be? How is this whole world made up of Christians, but all of them are mostly racist? That's why there's so many black people getting killed and dying out, because all these fake Christians out here are killing them. How can you teach your kids that black people are different when we are all humans? How can you teach your kids to not like black people? Why? Because you're jealous of them? Why? Because you have fear of them? Because you guys have fear of them because you made them get angry. You made them be strong because they knew if they didn't be strong, they couldn't fight against y'all, or they couldn't go against y'all, because you've had so much anger towards them. For what reason? Because they're darker than a white person? Because they're a few shades darker than y'all? I don't see any of y'all as Christians, because if you have God in you, then you have the love of God. What's sad is there's so many churches all around the world, and they won't even let a black person walk in. That tells me right there, you guys ain't no Christ followers. You don't have the love of God in you. If you did, you'd love every single human being. You would love every person there was on this earth. So why don't y'all Christians, or so-called Christians, get it together? Read. Love people. Make a difference. Go out and tell all these racist people that we are supposed to love one another. Stop this racism bullcrap. It's enough. It is enough. A lot of people didn't choose to be black. And you know what's sad? Is they shouldn't have to feel bad because they're black. God chose them to be black. They were born to be black. And they're only a few shades darker than a white person. We all bleed the same blood. This nonsense needs to end now. Wake up, y'all. Look at your history. Jesus was not white.
How do I say this? The entire Bible is about black people. Not only was Jesus black, but every character in the Bible seems to be black too. Yeah, Zephaniah and Jeremiah and Jebediah, those all aren't white people names, okay? And Jesus wasn't some tan, partially melanated Middle Eastern person either. I'm talking straight up black dude, okay? Even in the book of Revelation, when you get the vision of Daniel, he's describing someone with feet like burnt brass and white woolly hair, and we've got the deep running water voice with the red eyes, and you guys, he's black. The Jewish people are black people, like Kanye was right. And those people yelling at the park dressed in purple about black people being the real Hebrew Israelites, they're right, okay? Like, anytime you see the word Hebrew or Israelite or Jew in the Bible, in your mind you got to replace that with black person. So the whole Bible is going to make a lot more sense to you once you start reading it like that. But you need to let this get settled in your heart now before you get up there. So I mean, they were literally whipping him on his way to get crucified, you guys. Crucifixion was a punishment like for slaves back then, and gladiators, and all the gladiators were black too. Did you know that? Like, you guys, he was sold for 30 pieces of silver. That was the maximum amount of money that a slave could be sold for. Oh, just coincidence? Above his cross, it says INRI. They were like mocking him. They were saying it says this is the king of the Jews. They're saying, like, here's the king of the black people. Look what we did to him. Why does the KKK burn crosses, you guys? The racist KKK. It's just, black people, rejoice. You are God's chosen people. Like, I mean, those are some big shoes to fill, but be honored, like, feel good about that. Like, how cool. Anyway, see you later. Jesus was black.
White Jesus? You're not gonna like this one. Jesus was not white. Revelation 1, lines 14 and 15. The hair on his head was white like wool. This doesn't feel like wool. How would somebody in that time describe coarse, curly hair? I don't know, I wasn't there. Line 15, his feet were bronze. That, my friends, is pink and a lack of flexibility. According to the book, he was born here, which today is known as this place of this place, often having people's olive or darker skin as a description. I would love if you took a minute and Googled people from that region to see what they look like aesthetically, so that maybe, just maybe, we could get off this white Jesus conversation once and for all. I've never even read the book. This is just, you're just able to find this information. Random disclaimer. The book does not reference his appearance outside of this statement. Side note, even if he was, what do you think he'd like move to America and vote for who your interests are?
This is not to start any arguments with anybody, but I'm about to prove to you while Jesus, Yahshua, was black. His hairs were white as snow. His hair texture was also woolly. His eyes were a flame of fire. His feet were the color of fine brass burnt in a furnace. And his voice as the sound of many waters. He had hairs like wool. Black people hair. His feet was like fine brass burnt in a furnace. This is fine brass burnt in a furnace. This is also fine brass burnt in a furnace. Honestly, I don't know where this Jesus came from. The least they could have did was get the hair color right and the hair texture right. Even if y'all didn't want Jesus to be black, the least you could have did was do everything else right. And I can tell that a lot of y'all is uneducated because y'all love to say that Jesus is from the Middle East, so he's a goldish color. But back then, the Middle East was a part of Africa.
What color was Jesus? I was asked this today outside of the metro stop. I was administering ashes for Ash Wednesday, and this young black guy walks straight up to me and he says, "What color was Jesus?" And I am so glad that I know the right answer, because in my younger years, I would have said something completely different and completely wrong. And I told him, Jesus was black, and his face lit up. And he said, "I never imagined in my wildest dreams that a white priest would admit that Jesus was black." And here's the thing, Jesus was obviously dark-skinned. That's unquestionable. But he was also ontologically black. He was born into an oppressive empire, and his life was threatened from day one. He knew what it was like to be hunted and to have the illusion of freedom. As James Cone said, the cross of Christ was the lynching tree in America. Jesus was lynched by Rome, just like so many black people in America. I'm not sure why Jesus being black is so threatening to some white Christians, but it is. You'll find out in the comments. So if it's threatening to you, maybe this Lent is an opportunity to go inward and find out why your Jesus needs to be white. Because Jesus was absolutely black. And that truth matters, because if we're going to have a relationship with him, we need to recognize him first. I love you, all of you, and I'll see you out there.
They bring him on this flight, and instead of bringing him to the United Nations, they
Okay, so I keep seeing this story come across my timeline from David Wilcox. I guess he's telling a story, and that's him right there. And he's talking about the story of a black Jesus, and he's saying that I guess somewhere in Africa, it was reported that this guy had powers in the likeness of Jesus, right? So I guess the wrong people caught wind of it, aka the government, and they said, "Hey, let's get you somewhere where we can help spread your message." So they were going to take him to the UN, but they end up taking him somewhere and I guess shooting him multiple times, and he healed. And they had like now this gets graphic, y'all. So I guess they had a meat grinder and they were doing all type of stuff to this guy, like really graphic stuff, and he kept regenerating, y'all. So what are your thoughts on this? Like, I'm curious of where he got this story from, but okay. He reported on it too, Night God, and somebody else I think reported on it. I can't find it, but check it out. It's an interesting story. I tried to stitch it so you guys can just press it at the bottom and go straight to the video to listen to what he said. It's some wild graphic stuff though.
This is what Jesus looked like according to AI.
This is the spirit of Antichrist in the earth today, because the world will not confess that Christ was a black man from the tribe of Judah. When it's notated in the Bible, they'll say he's white, he was Arab, he was Chinese, everything but him being a black man. Now, what does the Bible say about that? 1 John chapter 4 and verse 2. Hereby know ye the Spirit of God. Every spirit that confesseth that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is of God. So Jesus Christ did come in the flesh, but what color was that flesh? And every spirit that confesseth not that Jesus Christ is come in the flesh is not of God. And this is that spirit of Antichrist, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world. The spirit of Antichrist is in the world today, and it is against the true image of Jesus the Christ, the black Messiah. Now, what color was Jesus Christ biblically? This is Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool. So the top of Christ's head and his beard were white in color and woolly in texture, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, because Christ drank wine in moderation, according to Genesis chapter 49 and verse 12. And his feet like unto fine brass, brass is brown, as if they burned in a furnace. If you put anything inside of a furnace, what color does it turn? Black. And his voice as the sound of many waters. So the Bible lets us know that Jesus Christ was a black man according to the Bible. Christ was not Arab. That is a lie. Christ was not a white man. That is a lie. That is the spirit of Antichrist.
I believe Jesus Christ was black, and the mainstream is trying to hide that information. And here are the verses that lead me to believe that he was black. This is Revelation chapter 1, verses 13 through. This is John speaking. John was an apostle of Jesus Christ, and he's having a vision on an island, okay? And he's saying, and in the middle of the lampstands, I saw one like a son of man, clothed in a robe reaching to the feet, and girded across his chest with a golden sash. His head and his hair were white, like white wool, like snow, and his eyes were like a flame of fire, and his feet were like burnished bronze. The reason why I think Jesus is black is because of this part, burnished bronze. This is a brown color. Let me show you. This is burnished bronze, as you can see on Google. You can Google this yourself. This is a black person. Now, some people will be like, oh, well, John's just having a vision. Doesn't mean it's actually what it was. But you know that God is giving John the vision, right? God is allowing John to see all this stuff, the future, to see Christ. And God showed him Christ as a burnished bronze colored man. Okay, so that's what he looks like. Now, if you're already triggered by this video and you find yourself saying, nah, Jesus was not black, and don't you say that he was. If that's how you feel, then possibly there's a deeper and darker, pun intended, issue within you that you need to check. John continues, this is chapter 4 of Revelation. Immediately I was in the spirit, and behold, a throne was standing in heaven, and one sitting on the throne. And he who was sitting was like a jasper stone and a sardius in appearance. Sardius is a reddish brown. This is a dedicated red, brown, dark tan color. Is there any historical backing for Jesus being black outside of the Bible? Well, there's certainly a lot of artwork that depicts Jesus as black. This is a painting from 1797 in Russia of a black Jesus. And some people might be like, oh, well, maybe they just didn't have the skin color for white. Well, look at the halo. The halo is certainly light colored. They could have painted Jesus white if they wanted to, but they didn't. They didn't. Why would they do that? Because Jesus is probably actually black. This is a 1497 painting in Russia. Look at these apostles. These are the disciples. Black men with afros. Afro, 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 all over. Jesus, the Messiah, as a black man with an afro. These are white Russians painting a black Jesus and black disciples. So you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? Are they doing this because they just love black people so much? Or are they just trying to be accurate? I could do this all day, really. There's all kinds of old school artwork of black Jesus, black disciples, black Mary, black angels, black saints, all kinds of stuff. And some of you guys may be saying, oh, well, what does it matter? It just doesn't matter. It's not a salvation issue. It doesn't matter what his color is. It does matter. It mattered enough for the mainstream and the matrix to change his skin color, so it matters to know the truth. If Jesus turns out his skin color was turquoise, I want to know that. Why? Because I want to know the truth. If it turned out that he was translucent, I want to know that he was translucent. If it turned out that he was factually and historically white, I want to know that, and I would accept. But it seems like we're being lied to about Jesus being black. And I got all kinds of stuff to say about, being black and what it really means.
Hello, welcome back. All right, I know this is actually a very sensitive topic, especially to very many religious people in the white community. And even those who are not religious actually are going to be sensitive because the narrative that we all know, including actually melanated folks, is that Jesus was actually white because of the books that depict him as white, because of the painting that depict him as white, because of the movies that actually depict him as white, because of the sculptures, all that stuff. But this is being revealed as, how do I say it? Is it a misconception or is it a cover-up? The biggest cover-up story in human history, actually, and the biggest theft of history in human history, exactly. Because if you read the Bible and the way that Jesus Christ is actually described within the Bible, within the scriptures, he is not a Caucasian man. He is a black man. The Bible says he had hair like lamb's wool. Who has hair like lamb's wool? Exactly. You can actually tell yourself. He had feet like bronze. Who looks like that? Exactly. Melanated people. And this shows you that a lot of people are discovering the truth, especially globally. This is a topic that I've seen that is going viral within the whole globe, and it's going viral because of what's happening right now. We saw a while ago, was it Putin who actually opened up the vaults in Russia, Russian churches, and all the paintings, old paintings, actually old days paintings, they depict Jesus and the disciples to be melanated people, and nobody was actually believing this. Everybody was surprised that this was going viral all over the globe. And right now a lot of people are talking about it because of the conflict between Easy, the country that you don't name in the Middle East that is connected with the Bible, and Iran and Uncle Sam. We all know exactly the conflict in the Middle East. But this is exactly what we are saying. We have to speak the truth, and the truth shall set you free. If you look at the many people that were actually teaching in this episode, they tell you the truth. They tell you exactly what it is, and this is crazy. You wonder. I know some people are going to ask questions. You're going to wonder, why would they try to depict him as coming from their own community? This is all about superiority and power. It's all about that. It's the same things that they did within Africa when they came to Africa actually and discovered the civilizations, the advanced civilization, this culture, the architecture. What did they do? They masqueraded as friends, learned everything, and then went ahead and looted everything, destroyed everything, made sure they burned all these learning center in North Africa. And then they went back to their, kingdoms and started replicating, giving names. Picasso discovered this, Michelangelo discovered this, which was wrong. These are things that they learned from Kemet in Africa. And that shows you exactly how, changing history to put yourself as the center of civilization, what it can do to, a race or a community. Now, the biggest problem within the melanated community, in my opinion, is stolen identity, lack of identity. When you don't know who you were, you do not know what you can do. You do not know how important you are. If you are, for instance, the son or the daughter of a king or a president, you never knew. Would you actually know how important you are? Would you actually know how much power you got if somebody stole you, from your mom or the queen, or your mom, the, vice president, as you are getting born in the hospital and went and raised you somewhere in a farm? You would never know. Why? Because you have a stolen identity. You would never know how important you are. You would never know exactly how much power you have. It is only by revelation or by the knowledge of somebody actually coming and telling you the truth and of who you are that you would absolutely now begin, acting up as a prince or as a, the son or the daughter of a king, or the son or the daughter of a president, or the son of the daughter of a powerful person. It is only within light or within you realizing that you begin to act like it. Now, what happens is, the people who know exactly who you are, might actually resent you without, telling you why. They might resent you, treat you bad, make you work like crazy just because they know that you got something they can never, absolutely never attain. And I'm just speaking in riddles and in metaphor, but I know that everybody else understands exactly what I want to mean, and that's exactly what is happening to the melanated community all over the world. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about today's episode? Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Do you really believe that Jesus was black? Do you really believe that melanated people are the chosen people of God? Let me know. Subscribe, hit that like button, and as always, see you on the next episode.